Hey everybody, it's Carl and Erynn here, and we got the mandolin and guitar. We're going to play a wonderful old D tune that a lot of fiddlers play and love. It's called Too Young to Marry.
Yep, or Sweet 16.
And we're here in Sligo, Ireland on Valentine's Day. Pretty magical place to be. And a wonderful tune. Paul David Smith from Kentucky played this. We were lucky enough to know him and pick a bunch with him. So we'll send this out to all Kentuckians we know. And here we go.
And all of you.
And everybody else, of course. And
Carl was too young to marry, but he married me anyways.
Yeah, if you've never heard Paul David Smith, check him out. He's great recordings as well out there. So in the key of D, here we go. All right, thanks, Erynn. That's a great tune. Fun, very fun. So let's just go through the melody of that a few times, and I think you'll have a lot of fun with it. I sure do. So in the key of D, and as far as the chords go, it has a quick D and A back to D. So we'll look at the chords too there. But let's start out just doing the first part. So it's got a little climb and two kind of basic things that happen in fiddle tune melodies is one that kind of goes up or down right in the scale, or it kind of jumps the notes of a chord, what they call an arpeggio. So this you can kind of hear has some of that in the melody. So the first part really gets to scale. You're climbing up on first string, and you could do a alternate picking probably, and then it gets where it jumps. So let's just work on that each little phrase of the melody here. I think you'll find it's not too tricky. Paul David puts some, every time he plays it through on a recording we were listening to, which is on YouTube and other places, he would do something different. So that's the great thing about a good fiddler or any instrumentalist, I guess. They things kind of just happen naturally, and it's a little different every time around. So that's a good goal for just a beginning musician learning tunes. Play it and get a regular version, and then the more you play it, the more you may put a little, improv as you go there. So here's the first phrase again. I'm climbing up on the first string, 2, 3, 5. Then I go from 5 to 2, and then you have 3, and then a double up and an open 3, and then just two notes of a D chord, 2 on the first string and 5. Let's just do that a couple times. 1, 2, 3, climbing up, 3, D chord. And that's 2 beats there, so you could, on a mandolin, your sustaining note can be a tremolo. So the next phrase, it starts out the same way. Then this time you have a little bounce, 3 open 5. Now here's where we have a little tricky spot emulating what Paul David does, because he does a nice slow slide from 7 to 5 really slow. We can't hardly get the, I tried it, slide from 7 to 5 kind of slow, take it up. 1, 2, and open, 3 beats there. 1 to 7, 5, open with a slide from 7 to 5. So we can try that. You have to put more pressure. So listen to that phrase, the second phrase. 3 open 5, slide 7, 5, open. So slide, you don't pick that 5, you could, but the slide works pretty good when you put a little more pressure. And then you're gonna have, so let's put those two phrases together. So 1, 2, start. Okay, and something else that you'll notice when you have a pause, what I do a lot of times if I have a nice open string, like we have that open third string D, where you have that, I might hit the D string there because I have that, like a banjo player might hit a drone string. So the mandolin's great if you have an opportune note right beside your melody note. So let's try that one time. Hit the third string, and that can keep ringing when you start your next phrase. Okay, now we're going to get kind of a little more notes coming in there. So you go up, you start the same way as the first phrase we did, but then it's going to go into a. So let's just look at that phrase a few times. You're on the, you're outlining a D chord there, 2 on the first string, and open. So it's like a little sequence, like the first note. So try that, find that. And I'm doing down, up, picking. Down, up, down, up, down, up. Okay? And it's going to keep going. The next phrase, 5, 2, open, 5. 2, 4, 5. So listen to that little flourish there, those 2 measures together. Okay, so listen to the whole first part there, see if it's starting to make sense to you. So 1, 2, 3. The slide, 7, 5, open. Here's the scaly stuff, keep it moving. You repeat that. Drone string if you like. Slide, open, scale keeps moving. Beautiful. So that first part, the chords, let's go ahead and look at the chords. I'll do it with just regular open chords for a minute. You have a D chord and an A chord, but I'm just doing the outside 2 and 2, and then bar, or 2 and 2 in the bass. We can just do the open chords for a minute. Then it has a D to a G to an A. And back to your D, A split. Then you have just G, G, and an A to a D. So try that. D, A, D, D, G to A. First D and A again, and a G coming up, and a quick A. So what you can do, practice with, practice getting the chords, as I always suggest, and then you can back up the melody. And as you get the melody, more, falling into your fingers better, you can go in and out of either one. So what I'll do here on the first part, I'll play the chords one more time, try the melody. I'll do the melody one time, so you have that to practice with. The first part, chords, 1, 2, go. Nice and easy tempo. Repeat that part. Now the second part, we get into a nice little arpeggio. We have the fiddler, again, it gets a little tricky on the mandolin. He does a triplet. He goes like a, so triplet's like 3 notes in the place of 2. Triplet, you can say triplet to the D, triplet D. So it's an open A, 2nd string, 2nd fret, and then the 4th fret and the 5th fret. An easy way to try on the mandolin, one way we might try is do a hammer from open to 2, and then pick a little up pick on 4, and pick that 5th fret. So let's just make that a little exercise for a second. And the arpeggio is going to be that, 5, open, and 4 on the 3rd string, and back to that, and a little hammer from 4 to 5. I'll just do it a few times for you, let you hear that. So it's. So you just practice that. There's a little cheat on that, not even doing the triplet. Sometimes he just does the 4 or 5 hammer and the open arpeggio. That's just the 3 notes of a D chord. And of course you have that open. So that's the first phrase of the second part with a triplet. Hammer, and then a little, just a 2 fret, 4 to 5. So, and then what happens is he goes 3 times through that. He does a little triplet every now and then. I've got the triplet, and then the little hammer, and then the triplet again, and a little, and here's what it sounds like. Let me just do that. So you're in that little rut doing it a couple different ways. Here's the start of the second part. Triplet, and just the notes, right? Triplet. Okay, so that's 3 times, I think. Let me make sure. Triplet, and then you have the you have a little 4, 5, 4, 2, where it arrives at the A chord. Chord-wise on the second part, it's just all D. So the triplet, and just a little hammer, triplet. Then you wait 4 down to 2, and the triplet again. And here we go into a different phrase. It's going to be working the G chord. You're going to be, again, just scaly again, back and forth. And again, Paul David does a little triplet, 5, 4, 2. And again, you could do a pull off. And again, to kind of finagle that. And some people might go, pick them all. But I think it's easier to do a little pull off. 2 notes with one, either hammer or pull off. In this case, we're going 5, 4, 2. So pull off, 5, 4, and up pick on 2. A lot easier on the fiddle to get those sounds, even the banjo, than the mandolin. The mandolin's got more, the double strings makes it trickier, but that's okay. And you could always leave out one of those and just go, not do the middle note, just do a regular 8th notes. And the big phrase comes up, the ending phrase coming up here halfway through the second is. And what's cool about Paul David here, instead of going, which a lot of people do, he goes one time, he varies it every time, he goes, he doubles up on that second fret, which is kind of different. And again, you can hit a little drone string. So listen to that halfway through the second part. 1, 2, 3. Here comes that G phrase, climb and scale. Keeping going, I'll just finish up. Same stuff. And this time he has a nice variation. As I say, he just about he goes. So the whole second part. Four, 2. The G climbing phrases. Triplet. Same stuff almost, right? Pretty much the same, except the ending right here. And the second part, chord-wise, let's look at that for a second. One thing, of course, I like to do is 2-string chords, but let's just keep it open this time for a second. Just the D chord. One thing you might think about if you're playing just a strummy open strings like this, you can get a nicer ring that way. And you can pick up a finger on a chord and get some different, since you have a lot of D there, you might pick up your first string note. And again, a D you can do with your first 2 fingers or your middle fingers, or you could even do it. It's good to try chords with different fingerings. So you might just kind of pick up a finger to get kind of a. Because you got da bum 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 bum, A chord, bum bum bum. Then you have that D to a G. You might get a little walk. And you might get experimental. That's all D to the A. One other thing to add to the chords there, anytime you're going from a D, you're in the key of D, and you go from D to G, you might want to play, you can play a D bluesy note. You could go like and that's going to be, if you have your the middle strings are a D chord, if you want to find that C note in a D chord. So you could do your D chord, and what I call the teeny reach, if you just reach up and hear a boogie woogie. boogie woogie buzz the boogie woogie note. That's going to be your bluesy, make it a D7. We won't get into too much. So in other words, that second part, D chord. Don't do it here. Going to A, we won't do it. But when you go back to this D this time, be a good place to do that D7. G and A. I'm just doing that little melodic enhancement there. And an A chord. And a D7 G. So I think you'll find this a pretty fun tune to play. And what I'll do is just play the whole thing one last time, wind up with that. So both parts, Too Young to Marry from Paul David Smith, and Happy Pickin'. And the key of D is a great key. You know, where we live in Virginia, D is one of the main keys they like to play in, and A, D and A. So here we go, Too Young to Marry one last time, both parts. 1, 2, 3. Second part coming up. Keep going no matter what. I'll try the second part, see if I can get it this time. Starting over on the second part. Beautiful. And if you get lost, you know, when you're playing a tune, the real art or something to practice is don't just stop. Keep doing something, you know, keep noodling along. And if you're playing with other people, it's not so bad. You can kind of catch on to their momentum. But just keep playing. And if you know the chords, you can kind of think about the chords for a second and come back around. You know, so Too Young to Marry, a great tune in D. And happy picking to you all. Take care.